Sonic the Hedgehog. You either love him like the freak you are, or hate him like the game reviewer in the 2010s. No matter how you feel about him, you know for a fact he's everywhere. From games, movies, the toy section at your local Walmart. There's a strong reason for that. His design. He can be cute, he can be cool, he just oozes style. Look at you, so young and happy. Now where did all the sauce go? Sonic had a lot of key art in his inception, mostly being 2D from the iconic Japanese pop art done by Naruto Oshima and Akira Watanabe, and the as iconic American box art done by Greg Martin. As you can already see, Sonic was built with 2D mainly in mind, breaking the boundaries of perspective and anatomy to create an appealing design. Just look at the cool blue of his fur and his iconic red sneakers, and the cream and white accents help to boost contrast. This is actually the reason why he doesn't have blue arms, to make his run cycle stand out more on screen, so his arms don't blend into his body too much, giving the player a clear, concise view of the animation. Sonic also has a really clear silhouette. A silhouette basically being the dark shape or outline against a character or object, basically making it easier to tell Sonic apart from any of these smucks. Like, who the fuck even is that? So, what did Sonic Team do when translating this iconic 2D character into 3D? Yeah, he looked a bit strange. Of course, there were still 2D promotional images, but for right now, let's just focus on the 3D stuff, okay? For Sega's first interpretation of Sonic in 3D, this is honestly pretty good. His face might be a bit flat, and his muzzle and eyebrows lack a bit of depth. My main point of contention is the way how they handle the spines. I can't really describe it, but there's like a clear separation between his skull and his quills, giving him that early 3D look. Speaking of his quills, remember when I was talking about 2D Sonic having an easily recognizable silhouette? Yeah, that's mainly because of his quills. His spines are recognizable from any angle. They do that Mickey Mouse thing, so no matter where you look at them, they're always in the same shape, same form. But in 3D, this is a lot harder to accomplish, causing Sonic to look like he has a big lump on his head. This goes to show using your head to break through solid metal will completely mess up your hairline. Now let's move on to our next set of renders.
You know you have to survive. You've got to keep the dream alive, where everything is free.
Just by a glance, you can tell there's major improvements being made. For starters, his muzzle now protrudes outwards, and his eyebrows are now clearly defined. And look at the spines. They angled it in such a way that it kept his silhouette. That's really cool to see. And his overall posing is a lot stronger too. You can see that Sega's really getting a grasp on Sonic's design in the third dimension. Alright, since we're done with that, let's move on to... What do you mean I missed one? 3D Blast? Okay, let me take a look and... Oh! Alright, I think I had enough of that. Let's just move on to Peak already. So, Sonic's style started to evolve due to two men, Satoshi Okano and Yuji Yukawa. They started to implement more dynamic poses, with large and pronounced hands and feet, showcasing strong lines of action and arcs. All of this and the newly released Sonic Adventure had the character slimmed down to look cooler and more mature. Yukawa redesigned Sonic & Go to suit the transition to 3D and give them a quote-unquote new, edgy and more Western design. I guess if you don't have colored eyes, you're not a true-blooded American. So, when translating this new design into 3D, Sonic Team did an amazing job, conveying a sense of movement and flow from Yukawa's work. All the things that I've listed earlier was adapted in such a perfect way, with the addition of giving the characters this glossy look, which emulates the embossed style of the 2D artwork so well. This continued all the way to Shuffle, where they experimented with cell shading. This fits the models to a T, and I still don't know why this is the only time they attempted something like this. Maybe in a spin-off after Sonic X Shadow Generations? Pretty please, Sega, please, listen to my plight. Now moving on to Heroes, which was pretty much more of the same. Only really major change being the proportions to more likely match the look of the in-game models, which I think is a bit of a downgrade from the more lankiness of the adventure renders. But they do retain their noodle limbs and colorful textures. I do love when my cartoon Hedgehog looks stylized. Any objections? Yes, the dark age of Sonic. This is where I got my start with the Blue Blur actually. Iizuka wanted to target an older audience with these types of games, having more of a dark tone and more realistic look to the environments. This can also be seen on the character renders as well. That glossy look is now gone. In its place is more realistic lighting, metallic shoot textures, and they even experimented with hair simulations for the fur at some point. This isn't for little Sammy anymore. This is a man Sonic game. After this, we had the iconic 06. The characters were made to be way more lanky, which was immediately backpedaled on with Secret Rings and Unleashed, pretty much giving us the Sonic model we've been looking at for the past 16 years or so. YouTuber man, where's the downfall you were talking about in the title of the video? Were you just manipulating your non-existent audience for views? Maybe. Everything before the meta era, I could say had qualities that got better over time. Whether that be the overall detail, its replication of the 2D style, increased quality in texture work and lighting, and I feel like that growth that was happening just suddenly stopped in the 2010s and stayed that way and just rotted for another 10 years. And some things I'd say even got worse, with the lighting just being so flat, the unnecessary ugly wrinkles on his face, and more stiff poses. He just feels so generic and lifeless now. Why does he have shit stains on his shoes? But it seems that we're finally gonna get out of that hole that Sega dug us in.
Let me out, please. Let me out.
Like, look at the Color's ultimate render. His posing is way stronger, actually keeping his silhouette. His Frontier's render looks like he actually has lighting that was made in the modern day. And the Superstar renders are bright and vibrant, giving him his colors back. It looks like Sonic is finally getting his visual identity back. God damn it. Hey, it seems like you made it to the end of the video. I really appreciate you for just sticking by and listening to me ramble about Sonic for 8 minutes. This is my first video on the channel, and hopefully it won't be my last. You may have noticed that my voice is slightly different throughout the video, and that's because I was experimenting with stuff with my voice, but I'm pretty sure I'll just talk normally from now, okay? Honestly, this was really fun to make. I kind of was smiling all the way through this, and the only reason this is possible is because of a friend that bought a mic for me. I can't name drop them, they wouldn't really like that very much, but I can just communicate their name through telepathy, okay? There, you got it. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you around. Oh, if you have any critiques on how I can get better with video making, please leave it in the comments. I'll make sure to read every single one. Bye fellas, and have a fantastic rest of your day.